So Bud Light, we all know what happened there. Um, the brand probably will never ever achieve the status that it once had. Okay, even the people at Anheuser-Busch are starting to admit it just keeps getting worse for them. They were driven to do that by this whole notion of ESG, or environmental social governance. It works hand in hand with DEI, or diversity, inclusion, and equity, which I like to turn those letters and reconfigure them a little bit and say diversity. They have it as diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI. I like inclusion and equity, because then I can change it to DIE, which is exactly what your company will do if you go down that road. And we're seeing that with the likes of Bud Light, maybe even the country music channel, because this guy, I forget his name. He, if it's been recorded after the year 2000, I probably have any genre. But he made this song and they tried to attack him, take his video off, and now they're getting some blowback. So the whole ESG thing is starting to die out as a philosophy, because companies are seeing that we're just not for it. Okay. Bud Light, I don't need you. I don't think I've ever had a Bud Light. I like Guinness. I've got one in the freezer right now, waiting for when my wife gets home with that Jamaican food. But I don't need to tell me to do this whole virtue signaling thing. Tell me how to live my life and that sort of thing. Now think about what Bud Light did, and we're going to get to this facts around ESG being a dying phenomenon. Think about what Bud Light, they famous for courting as a constituency. So they had folk that were blue collar, okay, working stiff, like to crack open a cold one at the end of the day. You could see folk, right? Um, they've done some advertising with guys that do the rodeo, um, guys that work on these tough jobs, right? Bud Light. Then, in saying, somebody saying, well, look, we want to also include other demographics. Okay, include other demographics. Yeah, okay. Well, let's talk about it. What they did is they said, to hell with our core constituency. To hell with the people who brought us to the dance and made us the #1 selling beer in America for 2 decades. Let's just do a complete 180 and look at a constituency that is not even, if you look at the demographics around how many transgenders there are, they're not many in America. There's certainly not enough to support what Bud Light was used to in terms of revenues. If every transgender said, I'm going to start drinking Bud Light, it wouldn't be a blip on the radar if they lose that core constituency, which they, so that's what they did. They said, hey, let's turn this thing around and let's go in. Let's go from 100 miles per hour. Let's slam the transmission into reverse and step on the gas as hard as possible. And it did my done. It broke the car. All right. Code for bath salt. You're absolutely right. This is to be studied in business schools forever. Okay. How to destroy a company in one fell swoop. They took an iconic brand and turned its name to mud. Maria 28 says, try Yingling. I've been hearing good things about it. I'm going to go in that area tomorrow where there's a liquor store, and I'm going to pick up Yingling and try that out. I'll take your word for it. Jackass Whiskey and Pinto Bean says he could not show favor. Oh, he's going back to the gentleman that he worked with. The Army was a great way to get people together and function as a group. Most of the people I served with in the Army and in combat that I remember were Black. Okay, yeah. That's most of my uncles were in the military. Nobody in the Air Force. We've done Army. And my grandfather and his brother were in the Navy in World War II. Father was a Marine. Once Marine, always Marine. Deceased uncle was a Marine. He's no longer with us. And in the Army, Coast Guard for me. Um, so, but at this point, with what the military recommended, I am not perturbed at all that none of my nieces or nephews are choosing that as a career, not with what they do in the military today. All right, ESG scoring. Now, if you want to get some history behind this, we got a documentary on the channel that I did that goes into Blackrock. They are the kind of the progenitors of this ESG thing. ESG scoring and mandates remain a subject this is from Zero Hedge, have contested since it sprang to life in 2020. The push of woke activism by companies to meet nebulous or artificial standards has led to various bad outcomes. Of course, we said refers to environmental, social, and governance risk theoretically embedded in a business. However, while ESG investing is about taking these risks into account in investment decisions, these are all the things not on a company's balance sheet or earnings statement, right? So how many Black people you have working for the company does not necessarily translate into profit. How many gay people you have working for the company does not directly translate into your ability to cut expenses and raise revenue. This is some nebulous pie in the sky unicorn stuff that has very little to do with actual business. Let's take a business. Let's take American Airlines, and you'll find out why I'm using them. American Airlines, what's the most prominent position they have in that company? Let's say it's the pilot, right? Now, the last time I looked, and I'm pretty sure I'm on solid ground here, most pilots are white males. And the reason for that is because a lot of these guys come out of the military. And so, okay, most pilots are white males. I've flown. When I get on an airplane, I am not concerned with diversity, equity, and inclusion. I am concerned with merit-based training, okay, and that this person is in that cockpit not because of his sexuality, not because of the color of her skin, or any other of these, little pie in the sky type notions. I want to know they can fly that damn plane. Like many of you, I have had occasion to have surgery. I don't give a damn what color the doctor is that's doing the surgery. I want to know he or she has a steady hand and that they know what they are doing, right? So the same should be the case in business, especially if you're an investor in that business, in that company, and you are looking for a return on your investment. Okay. People in America are investing for retirement. What is going to hold you in the best stead in retirement? Is it going to be knowing that, oh, wow, they hired 3 more Black people, or wow, they got several transgenders over there? Will you be able to take that to the grocery store or to your doctor's office? No, it's going to be that return on that investment that matters. All right. So, and to boot, ESG doesn't even bring in the types of returns. You might imagine that since it's not focused on financial wherewithal. Following the crisis, ESG funds had roughly a 0 market share of total assets under management. In 2020, ESG labeled funds in the United States exceeded $16 trillion. So that happened in short order. Went from 0 to 16 trillion. It was projected that these funds would exceed 50 trillion by 2025. However, the US, which accounts for 11% of ESG fund assets, saw outflows of 6.2 billion during the final quarter of 2022. Yeah, because people are waking up to the fact that it's not economically viable. To begin with, ESG funds certainly perform in financial terms. In a recent Journal of Finance paper, University of Chicago researchers analyzed the Morningstar sustainability ratings of more than 20,000 mutual funds, representing over $8 trillion of investor savings. Although the highest rated funds of sustainability certainly attracted more capital than the lowest rated funds, none of the high sustainability funds outperformed any of the lowest rated funds. So ESG doesn't work. People are starting to figure it out. Disney went all in on it. Now they're having trouble. Bud Light went all in on it, and we talked about them. Target, okay, the list goes on and on. People are fed up. And if you are so inclined to want to protest these types of activities by these corporations, nothing could be easier than your money in your pocket, right? And that's what people are doing.